If you've spent hours sending proposals on Upwork or tweaking your Fiverr gig just to land a $50 project, yeah, I've been there. I wasted so much time chasing work on those platforms, and even when I did land a gig, it was a one-time low-paying project, and then I had to go out and hustle up another one. Today, I'm going to show you why these platforms keep most freelancers stuck and how I replace them with long-term, high-ticket clients without sending time-consuming proposals or going viral. Here's the reality. Upwork and Fiverr and any platform like that, it's built to benefit the platform and not the freelancer. On these sites, you're constantly bidding against hundreds of people for the same job, and a lot of them are charging rock bottom prices that you simply realistically cannot compete with. And here's a reality check that most freelancers don't want to hear, or that they learn after they've invested way too much time and energy into these platforms, which is that you are often competing with freelancers in other countries where their cost of living is much lower. And so they are able to realistically charge $50, $10, even $5 to do a project. And while that's great for them, for those of us who live in the UK and the US and Canada, those rates simply don't work when you take into account our cost of living, health insurance, or general health costs, just feeding yourself. As we know, the economy is always changing, and right now in 2025, things are pretty expensive. And that's not even taking into account the fees that these platforms charge on top of the taxes that you have to pay, which in my state, I generally have to set aside 30% of my income for taxes. So when you take all that out and you're charging rock bottom rates, you are not able to make a living if you are charging that low. So when you take all that into consideration, the math just does not math. Another huge downside of these platforms is that it creates a barrier between you and your client. Firstly, all of the communication that you have with your client happens on the platform, payments are processed on the platform, so all of that is really out of your hands. And I've actually heard of several very experienced freelancers doing a lot of work and not getting paid because you really have to read the fine print in the agreements for these sites. If a client complains and says that you didn't fulfill their expectations and they aren't responsive to your questions, to things that you need to do your job well, even if you are doing your due diligence, you could just be stonewalled out of getting paid. And that's not a situation that anyone wants to be in. You're also not positioned as a trusted expert. That client is seeing you as option 27 on a long list of other people who offer the same services. That separation undermines your authority, and it makes it so much harder to position yourself as a long-term strategic partner. The big shift came when I stopped trying to compete for these one-off gigs and $200 projects and started building my own authority. So here's exactly what I did. Firstly, I focused on one platform, not a freelancing platform. I'm talking about a social media platform. Specifically for me, this was LinkedIn, and that's going to work for a lot of people because that's where CEOs, CMOs, COOs, all the C-suite, all the decision makers are hanging out. So those people who are sometimes using Upwork and Fiverr, you can just cut out the middleman and get straight to them with LinkedIn. And then just to build my authority, I created a simple one-page website. This website does not need to be fancy, just needs to clearly explain who you help, how you help them, and a general overview of your services and how to work with you. So maybe it's a link to book a discovery call, maybe it's a form that they fill out, something to get them onto a call or to that next step so that they can actually work with you. I also packaged my skills into retainer services, and this is the thing that really changed everything because, like I've said, it got me away from those one-off projects and it helped me position myself as a valued service provider, as a valued partner, so that they could see that I had something that I was going to bring to the table every single month. So instead of having to write a custom proposal every time someone showed interest in working with me, I pitched these preset service packages that solved a clear problem. It saved me hours of back and forth and having to create those custom proposals. And I could tell that it really made my clients more confident in working with me because I already understood their goals and needs. When you show up with a clear offer, you position yourself as someone who's done this before. And that leads to faster yeses, long-term contracts, and way less negotiating. Here's why this approach works so much better than platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. When you build your online presence and you pitch clear, prepackaged retainers, you are in control. You decide how you show up, how you speak about your services, and how you want to work. You also position yourself as an expert rather than a commodity because you're no longer just another freelancer in a sea of freelancers. You are an expert solving a specific problem, and that is magnetic to your ideal clients. Another huge benefit is that you attract clients that are looking for value and not just the cheapest option. This is a huge shift because when someone is referred to you, when they come to you through your content or through your network, they're already primed to trust you. And when you work on retainer, you create stability. You don't have to scramble for new projects every week or every month. You build deeper relationships with clients, you do better work, and that ultimately helps you escape the feast or famine cycle. If you're done chasing low-paying gigs and you are ready to have the stability that comes with retainers, make sure you grab my stable freelance workbook down in the description. Inside, I walk you through the 5-step framework that I used to go from underpaid and overwhelmed to signing consistent retainer clients. It also includes simple action steps for each stage of the framework, so you know exactly what to do to get out of this freelancer gig site rat race. So grab your copy below, it's totally free and it will save you so much time and energy as you build your business.